and should not be viewed as a news source. Any names, places, or likenesses mentioned are purely fictional, and any information discussed is purely speculative. Guest opinions are their own and do not reflect those of anyone else. Wherein the Folk is not responsible for content accuracy of any stories that are told or what people do with these stories. This show is vulgar, sometimes graphic, and due to its content, it should not be viewed by anyone actually.
Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Where in the Folk. Stephen dropped in at 0 hour.
Yeah, I've been retro. I got to put my glasses on. What are you wearing?
Oh, I'm wearing my holiday sweater. It's UFOs and aliens.
Nice.
Merry Christmas. I hope everybody had a great one.
Yeah.
We're gonna be running a little extra long tonight. So I don't know if you want to get started with Feel Good or
Yeah, we have some super heavy stuff to talk about.
Before we do that, though, Stephen wasn't on here when Stephen, I think I had my first ghost experience this morning.
This morning?
Yeah, like my first one. I'm pretty sure this was a ghost.
Okay, so was this at home or at the office?
At home.
Really?
What time was it, Tully, that I texted you this?
It was 5-something a.m.
It was like 5:30 or something. I got up and I let my dog out, and I stood out there with her, and I noticed in my backyard I've got a little hill that declines, and then it levels out, and then it drops back down about 16 feet. And I seen somebody walking a fence line, which isn't strange because I got neighbors back here.
Yeah,
I was like, it's just strange because of the time of the morning, you know. And I was like, oh, no big deal. They're probably looking for something. So I looked over at my dog, and then I looked back up, and they was gone. I was like, huh, that's strange. Because they were about 3/4 of the way down the hill on the fence line. And then I tilted my head to the left, and I seen an orb. Now, I would have thought it was a flashlight, except where the orb was, it drops about 16 feet.
Yeah, so it's nobody's going to be. Yeah.
And I sat there and I watched it. My dog's seen it too. Like it's seen the person walking, and then it seen the orb, and it just looked. And then it just kind of faded out.
Now this right here is the thing that I
went and I've looked for ghosts my whole life, and I've never seen anything. I'm almost 100% positive that was a ghost.
Yeah. To me, there's a correlation with paranormal things and orbs.
Yeah. I agree.
There's something there. Whether everything out there has the ability to shift and transform or whatever, there's definitely a correlation between them all.
We've been doing this podcast for what, 3 or 4 years now?
Yeah.
I've never had I've always seen things that could have been stuff, and I've always been like, I don't know, you know.
Right.
This year alone, in the last 6 months, I know I've seen a UFO, and I'm almost 100% positive what I seen this morning was some kind of paranormal ghost or something.
Yep. Yeah, that right there. I'll go ahead and share one. I've tried. This was
Hey, Linda. Hey, Nick.
I had one happen a few years ago. It was like 2018 or something like that. I was actually at work, and it was one of those days where the wind was like 3 miles an hour at the very most. Yeah, I mean it wasn't even from 100 yards away. You couldn't see leaves moving on trees. I mean it was just still.
Yeah.
And I got off the machine for a minute, taking a short break, and there was one limb out there. This tree line was probably 100 yards away, and there was one limb out there. I mean, just going crazy.
Hey, Rob.
Hey, Robbie.
Hey, Rob.
There was this one limb. It was just going crazy. And I thought, what is that? I should be seeing something. There should be a coon, or there should be a a giant fox squirrel or something over there on that limb, and I can't see it.
Yeah.
I thought, I'll take a picture. I'll try to zoom in on it later on. And the phone I was using, which was actually this one, it would do the view in motion after you do that. And somehow, I don't know how I spotted it, but I was going back and watching the view in motion. And after what made me take the picture was because this man was just going crazy back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And whenever I took the picture, I didn't realize it at the time whenever I took the picture, but this ball of light forms up. It just somehow I managed to catch that. And whenever I would cast it to the TV, I wished I had taken a video of it on the TV because this was just nuts. But
I don't. What happened this morning? Like I said, when we were kids, we went ghost hunting all the time. I never seen anything. I was like, "Oh, that's for sure ghosts." I really haven't. But this morning, it was enough for me to text Tully at like 5:30 in the morning. Like, I think I just seen a fucking ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah. That
Now,
was,
see, I would have been awake for that text.
not me, no.
You could text me and Morgana. We both could have started talking to you early.
Yeah.
Well, I told Cecil I was talking to Harry until like 2:30, 3 o'clock this morning about ghosts, and some of his experiences that he's had going on lately. But I've got some Friday feel goods for us to open up with. The first one is that a family restaurant. This isn't really a feel good, by the way.
Oh,
A family restaurant is closing after a lawsuit that a judge granted over a ladies' knot being discriminatory.
Oh boy.
So ladies' knot put this restaurant into the ground. So it says that let's see, a popular restaurant in California's Bay Area is shutting its doors after settling a costly discrimination lawsuit over a ladies' knot promotion. It was Lima Restaurant, a family-run Peruvian eatery in Concord, California, about 20 miles from Oakland. They just told patrons that they will serve its final meal on New Year's Eve because of the lawsuit. Chef and owner John Marquez said that the lawsuit filed last year has cost his restaurant tens of thousands of dollars, putting a major dent in the business's cash flow. He said, we haven't fully recovered from the discrimination lawsuit related to our ladies' knot discount, as well as the escalating operating costs of the business. Now, my question here, if he got sued into oblivion over a ladies' knot, could we sue all of these restaurants that offer senior citizens discounts?
I mean,
Or kids meals?
Kids meals, absolutely. Kids meals.
now to be fair, you can buy a Happy Meal for yourself.
That's true. But if I go into a finer dining restaurant, I have to be 12 or under in order to get that price.
That's true. That is discrimination. And people getting senior citizen discounts would fall into that. What else would fall into that? Veterans discounts.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I get the point on that because, like, a lot of people say I have the maturity of a 12-year-old, so I should get right of a 12-year-old.
Yeah. So in 1985, California Supreme Court ruled that a similar Ladies' Day promotion at businesses such as car washes and nightclubs violated the Unruh Civil Acts Right of 1959. So, at least in California, there is now precedent that if you have any sort of discount based on age or anything else, status, it is considered discriminatory.
So
How was that?
Stupid.
Well, the lawsuit was the settlement was well, no, this was over somebody else sued the Fresno Grizzlies and they reached a settlement of $500,000.
I mean,
So I'm telling you, if they just set the precedent, let's start finding businesses that offer senior citizens discounts. And let's just start suing the hell out of everybody.
Yeah.
You know, it's go ahead.
this is just a situation where you can sue anybody for anything.
Yeah.
I feel like senior citizen discounts are fine because they've paid their dues. If you work enough to get the senior citizen discount, you should get it.
And I totally agree with that. And I agree with kids, kids' ages and stuff.
don't.
It's this kind of shit that pisses me off. Pardon my
don't.
language. I'm so sorry.
I don't agree with the kids thing. I don't agree with the kids thing because they got their whole lives in front of them if everything goes right.
As a general rule, though, an 8-year-old is going to eat significantly less than I do.
Not me when I was 8 years old. Look at what I grew into. It's because I did some heavy eating.
But my thing is, okay, my father was killed on the job. He worked for the highway department all my life. Within a week, I had received 3 phone calls from different attorneys wanting to know if I wanted to sue the driver that hit them. I did not ask questions. They just, I guess, listening to the highway patrol, radio reports or something. And I'm like, how did you even get my number, much less who I am and the fact that he was killed? And I'm really funny about lawsuits because the lady that I grew up next door to could not get a job because she had sued every person she'd ever worked for over over stupid stuff. And then later on, her sister was actually hurt on the job and could not get any kind of benefits or assistance because of her sister's reputation.
Yeah.
So, just growing up seeing, somebody go with these frivolous lawsuits and, the problems it caused for her family member, I'm just that pisses me off. We've got plenty of people we could sue that I feel like we probably should, but it's not going to be over a ladies' night, or the Grizzlies giving away Mother's Day bucket hats.
We should just start calling this segment Friday Feelings instead of Friday Feel Goods.
Right?
I'm looking to sue Tully. I'm just waiting for that one text where he calls me fat.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So the other Friday funny is related to space. So Voyager 1 phones home after 43 years using 1981 tech over 15 billion miles.
What did it say? Did it say you up?
It says drink your Ovaltine.
Do they even make Ovaltine anymore?
I think so.
Okay.
I think so.
Really?
So
Seen it in the store.
So yeah, the Voyager 1 spacecraft, now 47 years old, apparently successfully reestablished communication with Earth. This was a couple of months ago in late October. After a brief period of radio silence, this contact was facilitated through a rarely used radio transmitter, the S-band, which had not been activated since 1981. The spacecraft is currently 15 billion with a B miles away in interstellar space. Do you think this is real?
No.
Like I can't text you from my mom and dad's house, but they're getting texts from.
That's what I'm gonna say. There's still places where we grew up that don't have cell phones.
Yeah, they're saying they're getting texts from Voyager 1 that's 15 billion miles away from Earth.
And I love the fact that they said they're getting text.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. The looking at the speed of light, how long did it take that message to transmit?
I don't know. And that's the thing. They're acting like they pinged it and it pinged back.
Right.
But wouldn't it take like years and years and years for that message?
Yeah.
Yes.
Unless, well, like what we were talking about with Stan last weekend, the fact that light used to travel faster than what it does now. Does light still travel faster out there?
That was so interesting. I wish you could have been here for that, Morgana.
I'm so sorry. Nobody would leave.
We're gonna try to have Stan stand back toward the end of January, beginning of
Okay.
February, whenever he can.
Awesome.
But he was talking about like just the physics, like that it's been proven that the speed of light is slowing down.
Yeah.
And how that can affect time space. It was a super interesting conversation.
But, I
Yeah.
mean, if it's only traveling at 186,262 miles per second, then was this going to be like in contact whenever the first message comes back? It's from Hitler.
It could be. Jesus.
Well, he wants to make sure you have your Ovaltine. That way you're sturdier for the testing.
Yeah.
I can't help with this intrusive thought when you said it texted back. Like, do you think it was like, check out the moons on that eggplant?
Yeah. It's just crazy because I mean, people out there will totally bought into this stuff, and but I didn't you have you've got sort of a local true crime thing you wanted to cover?
All right. So this is still new. So obviously, there's investigations and things that need to go on before any kind of rash decisions can be made. It does need to be brought to the attention of the public, if you can help. Because this is kind of messed up the way it's starting to look. So on December 23rd, around
4 days ago.
Yeah, around 11:53 p.m. The city cops of my local town were out in the county serving a warrant for what appears to be a stolen weed eater. Allegedly, they did a no-knock, so they shot the doorknob off of this man's home and busted in. Neighbors say that when they pulled up, they had all their lights off, so they were like stealthy and surrounded his house. And they, by all accounts of what it sounds like, murdered this man. They shot him 5 times. His name was Doug Harless.
Over a weed eater.
Over a warrant for a weed eater. What makes it even more horrible is it wasn't the right house.
What? What?
That doesn't surprise me.
The address that they were serving the warrant for was for not his house, and his house had the numbers on the door, like not on the door, but on the pole on his porch. They said he pointed a gun at him. Yeah, come to my house when I've done nothing wrong and shoot my doorknob off and see what happens. I mean, it's pretty common. It'll look like a fucking rave with all the flashing that be going on. This guy didn't deserve this. He was a hard worker. He's going to go to work the next day, more than likely. Right now, they're set. The only thing that they have released about it is he pointed a weapon at him. They shouldn't have been there.
Right.
There's a warrant at midnight anyway. And why was city cops delivering a warrant in the county area outside their jurisdiction? So his name's Doug Harless. There's a hashtag going around, Justice for Doug. This is him. It's a true tragedy that shouldn't have taken place. And I have a bad feeling it's going to be swept under the rug, like most things around here are. But that's all just based off what we know now. I'm not 100% sure it was a weed eater. They're saying the warrant was for a stolen weed eater.
That's nuts.
The stolen weed eater that probably cost what, $80 to $115 or
I was
something?
going to say, isn't it like $250 for it to even be considered a felony or more?
Maybe. Yeah. But their whole reason for shooting him was he pulled a gun on them. They were at the wrong house.
I'm like you. They would have pulled a gun on me too, because I would have damn sure come up.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Ride by during the day and make sure you got the right place. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I'm trying not to get fired up about it because it is my local hometown, but by all intents and purposes, I'm starting to sweat because I'm getting pissed off. But yeah, if you could if you have any social medias or anything and you can look this up, I would definitely start spreading that hashtag just to bring it awareness to it, because at first it doesn't seem like they were going to post like anything from the sheriff's page about it or anything, but now they've been forced to do a press release. So
Right. Well, and like I said, the more people that get it out there, the less likelihood of it just disappearing too.
Yeah.
I have. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, this right here is one that needs to go viral.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, I have serious issues with no knocks anyway, because it seems like almost every time you ever hear about one, something stupid happens.
it really sounds like a lot of busybodies
Uh-huh.
didn't want to work on Christmas Eve, and it's like we need to do something that,
Mhm.
and it turned into a tragedy because they didn't do proper research before they went to do it.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Well, that was heavy.
Yeah.
So I've got a really quick one.
Mhm.
So China this week launched the biggest amphibious assault ship in a projection of military power. The vessel was described as a light aircraft carrier. It was unveiled after a day of test flights for new fighter jet prototypes. And obviously this comes amid increasing tensions over Taiwan. But I don't know do you have that video up, Cecil? If not, I can probably get it up.
I do not.
Okay, let me get the video up real quick. But it seems like China just keeps they keep doing these exercises, like the one recently with the drones, where there was like 10 million drones and they were putting on a show, and it was literally just showing basically military capability of the drones.
Mm-hmm.
But let me get this share in here. And I don't think we need audio, but this is it.
That's huge.
Yep. So it's supposed to be the biggest military amphibious ship. And they were showcasing it this week after showing off some different prototypes of planes. But
There's like a whole lot of warehouses on the side of it.
Yeah.
That's made out of paper mache.
What are the dimensions on the ship? Were you able to find that?
I don't know if I have the exact dimensions. Hang on, let me get back to the article here.
But there was the first, but they're wanting to build like 2 more of those, aren't they?
Yeah. So it just says the vessel combines features of amphibious landing ships and aircraft carriers, boosting Beijing's global power projection and potential invasion plans for Taiwan. The ship, named Sichuan, was launched during a ceremony in Shanghai. It doesn't give the specs, I don't think.
Well, with that right there, in light of the conversation we had last night, Taiwan is the thing that we keep being told that China's going to invade, but according to the Hopi prophecy,
they're coming here. Yeah. That was such an intense conversation. I can't wait to talk to him again.
Yeah. So with this ship right here, I mean, this looks like you could put a lot of people on that ship.
Yeah.
Along with airplanes and other technology.
I don't know if anybody wanted to invade the U.S. though, you would have to have an astronomical fleet, like the biggest fleet the world's ever seen.
Yeah.
And as far as I know, the U.S. holds that fleet currently. You know what I mean?
As far as we know, I mean, it's with that right there. I think China is trying to. I think China's trying to pass this though.
But the next one that I have is super long, so I'll let you hit one, Cecil or Morgana.
I want to touch on who has the biggest naval fleet in the world right now. It's China. China now possesses the world's largest maritime fighting force, operating 234 warships to the U.S.'s 219.
Well, but quantity doesn't always mean quality. We've seen that in previous exchanges and battles. There's no fighting force on the planet like the United States has.
I mean, they're using the warships. They ain't like I take my pontoon down to the lake and I go, "This is a warship." You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. That's weird.
Well, speaking of the ocean, like we were talking about the ocean aliens, or Congress has been talking about there being something in the ocean. I found a video that is very strange of something in the ocean, and now might be a good time to segue into that. Let me get it going here.
Get it fired up, brother.
Let me see. We don't need audio for this one either. And we've got a ton of videos, by the way, for tonight. Like after we get through with some of the articles and stuff, we'll talk through some of the videos. But this is one you can't really tell what's going on, but you can definitely tell that there's a lot of ships, something smoking. And this was in the Pacific.
This was in the Pacific?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's Godzilla ripping a bong.
Well, I mean, how many times have we just seen them randomly bombing the ocean too? But it makes me wonder. I mean, I guess these could be military exercises, but there's definitely some weird stuff people are capturing out in the ocean.
Huh.
I don't know what to think about that. What do you all think?
I don't know.
I'm not sure. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. That was tough to say. Exactly what they shot, because I guess I'll go ahead and throw one in here. With talking about military stuff right now, we're on that subject. In the Red Sea, on December 21st, we accidentally shot down one of our own planes. We accidentally shot down one of our FA-18 Hornets.
Crazy.
Yeah.
That's an expensive mistake.
Yeah. The pilot, the two that were in the plane, they survived it. But what happened was, we have technology to let them know, hey, this is our airplane, so don't shoot this down. But all that stuff was down, and somebody on the ship made a call to go ahead and shoot this plane, and down. But unfortunately, it was ours.
I wonder how many dogfights back in World War II that we accidentally shot down other planes, and they could only identify them by like decals on the side. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now we got all this stuff, and we're shooting our own stuff down still. It's nuts.
With today's technology being what it is. Yeah.
I don't know how many million or how much an F-18 Hornet cost, but I'm sure they're quite expensive.
A lot, yeah.
I don't think I could buy one if I won the damn Mega Millions tonight.
No. If we could split up what one plane cost, I'm sure none of us would ever have to work again.
Do you all have anything in the hopper? The next one I've got is really long. So
okay, I have one that comes with a couple of questions. So, the Boeing people are stuck on the space station and everything, and it's been expensive. We haven't talked about Boeing in a while. It's been
how it's going with Boeing.
Yes, how it's going with Boeing. They're going to be there an additional 3 months, so they're talking March. But yet, SpaceX was able to deliver Christmas dinner along with Santa hats and a Christmas tree and all kinds of fun stuff.
Couldn't they have just put them where the Christmas tree and stuff was?
Right? See, those are my questions. I have questions because, you see this picture where they've all got on their Santa hats and they're stuck up because, the gravity thing, and they've got a little, small Christmas tree, but they've also got this big giant like snowman that's every bit as big as a person.
Maybe the
So why not shove one of them back in space? Because I'm assuming it was manned.
I don't know.
I don't.
I'm not
either, but
sure.
Oh no.
if you can transfer food and gifts from SpaceX to the space station, you should be able to at least put one person into SpaceX and send them back.
You know, I if I go to Tully's, for example, I want to go home after like 3 hours. If they would have sent me that stuff and I've been on that spaceship as long as I have been, I would be like, I'm getting back on this thing and I'm going home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Try to make me stay.
Yeah.
You know. Mhm. So okay, that's all I had, Tully.
So the one that I wanted to bring, this one's kind of long, but there was a headline this week that says quantum teleportation has begun to change the world, and I wanted to know what that meant. So it says quantum teleportation, once confined to the pages of science fiction, is steadily becoming a tangible scientific achievement because of advances in quantum mechanics over the last decade that have transformed teleportation from a theoretical concept to an experiment or an experimental reality. These breakthroughs have revealed innovative methods for transmitting information instantaneously over vast distances, offering transformative possibilities for computing, communication, and cryptography. They're closer than ever to bridging the gap between imagination and reality in the cutting edge field of quantum teleportation. At its core, teleportation in the quantum world isn't about physically transporting objects or people, but it instead involves transmitting quantum states, essentially the fundamental properties of particles like electrons or photons, without physical movement of the particle themselves. This is made possible through quantum entanglement, a phenomenon where two or more particles become so interconnected that the state of one directly influences the other, no matter how far apart they are.
What?
Yeah. So basically, think like, just to put it into dumb terms, like Dragon Ball Z, how they have instant transmission.
I don't know anything about that.
Well, okay. You have they're not talking about physical objects, but we can relate it to physical objects. It'd be like if I had an apple sitting here on the desk, and they could suddenly make that apple appear on your desk in front of you.
I don't eat apples.
Obviously. because your brain cells are falling out of your ears.
No, so they're saying they can actually teleport things like
messages.
Okay, so Tully has a beer sitting on his desk, and he can send it to you, or coffee, or a cigarette.
Well, I'll take a beer. Send it on, brother.
So this has been years in the making, though. In 2022, there was a groundbreaking study led by a physicist at the University of Science and Technology of China. They reported a new record in quantum teleportation distance using entangled photons. They successfully quantum transmitted information over 1,200 kilometers via satellite. And they said that this paves the way for global scale quantum communication ground stations or networks, I guess. So basically, rather than having like the phone networks that we have today, you could have these quantum networks and there would be zero latency in message or information delivery. I don't know how that works with, like, you know, we talk about EMP related stuff. I don't know if you can like maybe bypass EMP ramifications with quantum technology, but
totally. Hang on a second. I want to do something. You got your phone on you?
No.
Oh, hang on. No, continue.
Okay.
I have mine.
Morgana has hers. So I'm going to kind of skip through this. So the cost related to this, the U.S. National Quantum Initiative, so different from the one in China. Again, this seems like very similar to the race to nuclear power. There's a race to quantum technology between all of these countries currently, but the U.S. has allocated over $1 billion to quantum research, including teleportation, and similar investments are currently being made in the EU and China. The long-term potential of quantum teleportation extends beyond secure communication and computing, because in theoretical physics, teleportation experiments are deepening our understanding of the universe. And recent research from Caltech suggests that teleportation could provide insights into the nature of space-time and black holes. This is where it kind of gets scary, right? Like if it really is like the Simpsons episode where they accidentally opened the black hole up. But they're basically, I mean, this is on the precipice of being, they're already doing experiments, but they could eventually transmit energy this way also. They're saying that while the concept of beaming energy via quantum methods remains speculative, early studies indicate it may be possible to teleport energy states in specific conditions, and could open the doors to energy distribution systems that are far more efficient than the current grids, like we would ever see that technology.
Three things. Hang on. Morgan, you got your phone?
Got my phone. Got your message.
All right, so about 7 seconds. So they're saying that will save about 7 seconds.
Save
All
7
right.
seconds.
All right, awesome.
Thank you. That was my first question too.
But you know, the thing about it is I don't usually look at text right away anyway, so who gives a shit if they get there to me fast?
Well,
Third thing, it sounds like they're just doing what Tesla was doing.
pretty much. They're saying that, and if you remember a few, maybe 6 months ago, a year ago, we were talking about Dr. Parkinson, who went viral for wirelessly transmitting electricity. And he got a stern talking to by agencies to stop posting content like that, I think.
Oh, and I've got another point. We're podcasting from different states right now. This instantaneous.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Does this not go along with what CERN was doing? The claims that CERN had, where they believed that they could send gravity into another dimension?
Yeah, it's in the similar pocket. And I think what they're getting at is wanting to be able to transmit things. Like, think about, again, like the Tesla technology with wireless energy transfer.
Right.
If you needed something that, or if you had something that needed to be powered and it was, 10,000 miles away or on Mars, and you needed to beam energy to it or transmit, like the Voyager sending messages 40 billion miles away.
well, obviously we've had the technology since then.
Right. They just got messages from 40 billion miles away, but they are definitely quickly working on
So it's really kind of more the future ramifications that this really has more of an impact on right now. Because like Cecil said, I mean, we transfer energy not energy, but messages and information and stuff fairly quickly. We do have to deal with things like latency, and like right now I've got a thunderstorm going on, so I lost power earlier, and those kinds of things are affected by our current technology. But where they're going with this is the fact that, like I said, you can send energy, you can send physical things at some point and everything like that.
Yeah, the more they understand quantum entanglement, I think they're theorizing that it may shift over into objects and energy rather than just information.
Right.
And then you're at a point where not to dip into conspiracy land for a minute, but think Stargates and how we've talked about Stargates in the past.
Yeah.
Right.
If you could solve this quantum entanglement, for instant transmission of objects, you could literally step through a gate and go from Earth to Mars like that.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think that's what they're trying to get at is maybe recreation of that technology that, is speculated to have existed in the old world.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, because like you said, there's no way they're ever going to give us free energy or anything else, but they will use it for their benefits to do all kinds of stuff.
If they had these gateways where you could just step from, I don't know, California to Moscow in a step, how much do you think they would charge you for that step?
$17 million is what an 11-minute space trip costs. So I'm going to put that in that area.
I can't help but think of The Fly. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't see it turning out right. Like, what if I walk through and at the same time a cockroach walks through? When it regenerates me, am I going to be able to survive a nuclear blast? Like, you know what I mean?
I mean, something I can start here. I mean, if they have this kind of technology and they want to do to that, even though they're talking about just transporting people, could they not say if somebody was sick with something like whatever sickness it might be, when they regenerate them without the sickness in them? I mean,
that's a good question.
What are the limits on it?
They were, well, just like the headline from a few weeks ago of basically those beds. They're trying to make those beds from Elysium where people can be cured of disease and stuff.
Yeah, the med bed or whatever they're called. Yeah.
But it also reminds me a lot of like the Manhattan Project, Philadelphia. Yeah. With the ship. And I don't know if you all would be interested in doing our agency's projects show tomorrow or anything, but
I don't care. I'm down.
We could totally roll on that since we already have it all.
I'll
together.
be around 8.
But yeah, it's definitely crazy that it feels like this is the new nuclear arms race, is like these crazy technologies like the quantum transmitting.
I love how my wife just randomly sends me like Dano seasoning videos.
It's important. Did you all hear about the missing Congresswoman?
Yeah, that was nuts, dude. She's been missing since like July 24th. Done nothing. Casted no votes, had no proxy, nothing this whole time. Have you heard about this?
No.
So a missing Congresswoman not seen for 6 months has finally been found living at a dementia care home. Probably where a lot of our politicians should be, honestly.
Yeah.
But it says that her name was Kay Granger, and she's a representative. She's been a representative in Texas since 1997. So she suddenly disappeared from the public eye in July, and it was right after. Well, it looks like her final vote might have been good. It says that she voted, or never mind, it's not good. She voted against an amendment to reduce the salary of the administrator for pesticides programs to $1. And then went missing. So people were calling her phone, and it just said, "I'm sorry, we are unable to answer your phone. We are really glad you call us. Please leave your name, number, and a brief message, and someone in our office will get back to you as soon as possible." The reporter that was looking into this then went to her constituency office to find absolutely no signs of life or activity. They then received a tip-off from a local resident that she was actually at an assisted living facility specializing in memory care. They were not permitted to do an interview. I'm paraphrasing here, but how much do Congress people make? Isn't it like $170,000?
It depends on your region, I think. But the issue with this is like, why why wasn't she replaced? Like, and they're already trying to put a spin on it, like, oh no, it's not for her mental stability.
Really?
Yet
Yeah,
her staff declines to disclose her condition.
yeah.
Yes.
We
have a big problem with this right now. Like there's a huge problem.
Yes. How many times have we talked about the fact that not only should there be a minimum age to serve, there should be a maximum age to serve
Yes.
because of this.
If
know,
you
it's
are, yeah. If you're too old to have a regular job, then you're too old to be a leader of the free world.
Well, we used to have a friend that lived in Britain, and they've got some laws that I think are silly or that are just strange to me. But one of the ones that they have that I feel like we should have is after you get a certain age, you have to take a driving test every year for your driver's license to stay active. And if your family does not feel that you are safe, they can commission the courts to revoke your license.
I'm 100% down with that until I get that age.
Of course.
Because the other day I got behind somebody going literally 5 miles an hour on my road, and you can't really pass on my road. I could have got out and walked up and punched her back window out, which I about did. And I got so pissed off, I ended up passing on a hollow road, which ain't hollow. It's kind of 2 lane, but I looked over, is somebody going like, gray hair. I was like, oh my God.
but I feel like that politicians, and this is not a party thing, because I think they all should fall under it. When they get a certain age, if they want to stay in office, they should have to take a cognitive test publicly.
Well,
not my doctor says I'm good. No. We've got 100 questions we're going to ask you on live television, then we're going to vote on it.
Well, I think a big remedy to this would be term limits, but they're not going to govern themselves. They're not going to put term limits in on themselves because they're making millions of dollars.
Before we move on to that, though, my mom is 70 and she still drives like 80 miles an hour. So I agree that they should be tested.
Yeah, but see, that's like we had a friend at home that's been a highway patrolman all my life, and the little town that his family lives in is literally one road. There's a service station on each side of it, and a bank that has one teller and no drive-through. That's the town. And his mother, at about, I think she was 71 or 72 at the time, would go flying through there. And he finally told her, Mom, if I catch you doing it again, I'm going to stop you and I'm going to give you a ticket and I will not fix it for you. The whole town knew a week later, he stopped me and gave me a ticket.
I've got a funny story about that. One of my cousins did work for a sheriff's department and did write his mother a ticket for speeding.
Yep, Travis wrote his.
But my mom's the one that's behind you on the parkway going like 90 miles an hour, blowing the horn, smoking a cigarette with the windows rolled up, listening to Bob Seger as loud as they go.
She's got good taste in music.
Yeah. We actually had a guy who lived in this area. He was I think when he was 100 years old, he got pulled over he was running 80 miles an hour. I forget where he was going. He lived to be like 105 or something like that. But at 100 years old, he was still driving just like he did 80 years before.
But see, we had one too, Mr. Shorty, and the reason he was called that was he was about 4'11", and you knew not to park within 5 spaces in any area around him because he was not going to look behind him when he backed out. And he was going to hit you and he was going to keep going. Now, if you saw him or someone else did, he'd hand you cash to pay for it. But he just didn't give a shit.
And these are the people that deserve the social, like the senior citizen discounts.
Well, and all of there's been a lot of this over the last year. Like Mitch McConnell, he's like basically glitching out on camera earlier in the year.
Yeah.
And fallen. But also related to kind of government tomfoolery, it was revealed this week through an investigation that a bunch of musicians and pop stars and actors exploited the COVID relief fund for luxury spending.
No.
Did you all see that?
Yeah.
It couldn't work. They had to get money somehow.
So it was people like Chris Brown apparently. It says that he got a $10 million grant as personal compensation and spent $80,000 on his birthday party. And other artists like Marshmello, Steve Aoki, and members of Alice in Chains and the Shinedown also paid themselves millions of dollars from the grants. And Lil Wayne.
Which there was a woman that also did that. She I can't remember who it was now, but there was a female artist who did that as well. It's I will say this with some of that stuff that they sent out, the language in it was so vague that technically you could have gotten away with that.
Yeah, well, it says the Small Business Administration, or SBA, who oversaw the program, faced pressure from Congress to disperse funds quickly. This led to a relaxed anti-fraud control with plans to verify eligibility and spending after distribution.
Yes.
So some SBA employees expressed frustration, feeling that concerns about eligibility and spending were ignored. Everybody kept telling us to shut up, sit down, and process the file, one SBA employee said. And Senator Gary Peters, not sure where he's from, called the celebrities' use of the grants an abuse of federal resources. The SBA reportedly recouped $43 million in grants, but $6 billion worth of grants remain under review. While it did help many struggling organizations, it was obviously misused, and there wasn't a lot of oversight on it.
I mean, there was a lot of people. There was a woman busted in the county next door that opened businesses during COVID, like opened business and then got these grants, but they never truly had a business. So there was a lot of abuse going around for sure.
Yes.
Not to the tune of millions of dollars, but I mean, it was to account for lost revenue. I guess I don't
think that they should have been allowed to get money just for lost revenue. I feel like if, you were a multi-millionaire, you shouldn't have gotten jack, because you weren't hurting at the end of it if you didn't get a damn thing.
Well, I think that's the control that they're talking about. Like there usually would be checks and balances for that kind of stuff to show a debt to income ratio.
Right. I've got, $12 billion in assets. I need this relief. No, you don't.
Yeah. Well, yeah. During that time, I mean, what few rules they actually did have, that they gave money to a business. Part of the requirement for that business was for us. I don't remember how many months it was, but the employees of a business, their weekly wages could not fall below what the average was.
Yeah,
it was part of the requirement. So, but if you're taking that money and you're going out and you're buying land, like there was a doctor in our area that received some of this money, and they bought land with it. So, that's they're no longer
right.
If you did it right, though, you made a lot of money during COVID. Let's not. It's that it really goes back to that. Don't hate the player, hate the game.
No, I hate them both. I'm sorry, but if you knowingly screw the system when you're not, people go to jail. Okay, there was a guy shot in Detroit the other day for stealing a bag of chips. I'm not condoning that at all, but the man was shot in the back and killed, and that was over a bag of chips. I'm assuming he was hungry.
Yeah.
Or he had the munchies, one way or the other, $1 bag of chips. And you're going to tell me it's okay for me to take advantage if I've already got millions.
Yeah.
I think that's bullshit.
Yeah. And then in California, you've had Walgreens and CVS and all kinds of other stores that have shut down because in California, unless they steal at least $1,000 worth, it's not a crime.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like back in 2008 when they did the bank bailouts,
Oh,
and they were giving their CEOs all these bonuses. If they would have given $100,000 a piece of that bailout money to every adult over 18 in this country, we would have gotten them out of that fall because we'd have spent the money and put it back into the system.
because more money Americans make, the more money they Americans spend.
Exactly.
Now in 2008, if somebody would give me $100,000, the liquor store would have been banging.
See, and the liquor store would have put that money in their bank account. The bank would have made money. Everybody would have been good.
Yes.
But, you know, they did not help the economy by giving it back to the banks. They helped out their stockholders and their higher ups.
Yeah, I remember when all that was going on, they were calling it quantitative easing, and they were talking about these banks that are too big to fail. It started in 2007, went into 2008, too big to fail. That was the headline, you know. You know,
but we can all agree trickle down does not work. You know?
But you guys continue. I have to visit the Tinkle Ferry.
Okay.
But
So I found,
you know, I mean, those CEOs of General Motors, of Chrysler, Dodge, whatever it was, Ford, they all flew in on their private jets to Washington, D.C. You know, and then Ford, they got to looking at their numbers, and they're like, one second, no, we're good. We don't need the money. But they took all that money.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Okay.
No, this is good. This is good.
You got me started, damn it. You got to live with consequences.
Yeah.
But that's like, okay, with my employer, she did take some of the SBA stuff, but she used the salary thing, you know, to pay salaries. And because we had one girl that quit because when COVID first started, and they had first started doing the higher unemployment that you could get and everything. Well, this girl, you had to have a thing filled out. And the first question was, do you have work for this person to do? Yes, I do. Well, then she did not get the unemployment for that week. And she got pissed off. She goes, it's not fair. You should let me work enough hours that I can still draw unemployment. She goes, no, because then I'm lying for you. You know?
Yep.
And, but then, you know, that aside, I can remember talking to somebody that was salaried in my company. And I said something about, you know, having to build back up savings, all this out of COVID. And he's like, how's that possible? I'm like, I don't know. Maybe the fact that Mo got laid off and then he lost his job. And then I got just enough hours to not get any compensation through the salary reimbursement. So I used my savings to make up the difference.
Right.
But this person, because he was salaried, could not wrap his head around, well, how is this hurting you?
I got completely FUCT in that whole situation because I had to keep working regular hours. It sucked.
No, I didn't work all of my hours because I refused to go on salary also though. But the thing is, like I said, I got just enough hours so that I did not get any of the $600 a week I would have gotten if I'd have gotten 10 less hours.
Yeah. Well, and see, during that time right there, I mean, you really took a hit on that, Morgana. But at the same time, there were corporations in America in a certain business that I'm very familiar with. Some of those large corporations had profits of $750 million.
Record profits.
Record profits. There were more billionaires made during the COVID era than at any other time in history.
Yes. Right now, when people start bitching about inflation and the cost of food, I'm like, wait. Bullshit. Because when the food manufacturers in this country are showing an 800% increase in profits over the last 2 years, that's not inflation, that's greed.
That's a good segue.
Yeah.
So I found the most paid for article that I may have ever stumbled upon from the food industry. The tagline goes like this: almost 500 foods contained the yoga mat compound. Should we care? Should we care? So that's your first red flag in this article. The compound found in commercially baked bread, yes, the one that's in yoga mats too, is in the news again. A report from the Environmental Working Group finds that the compound azodicarbonamide, that's a weird, it's azodicarbonamide.
I'm glad that you were the one attempting to pronounce that.
Yeah.
Azodicarbonamide.
There you go. It's
That's
found it's found in close to 500 food products, from Pillsbury dinner rolls to Little Debbie products to Wonder Bread.
That's why it's Wonder Bread.
And as you may recall, the sandwich chain Subway got a lot of attention when it announced its plans to remove the compound because their bread couldn't be qualified as bread.
Yeah.
And they say, but what is the evidence behind these claims? Let's start with asthma and other respiratory issues. The concern about breathing problems stem from factory workers who have been exposed to high levels of this chemical. But it turns out, outside of this occupational exposure, there's no evidence that there's any risk to consumers at all.
Really?
So you mean to tell me my bread intake is why I can't breathe that good?
It could be.
Well, it could be.
Huh.
And he said, this is another statement where it's blatantly obvious that this article is paid for by one of these companies. He says there is a generational zeitgeist among fellow millennials to take back food from the large companies and demand transparency. Why is that a bad thing? Like, why is that? Like,
It's not a bad thing.
If you have to hide it, there's probably a problem with it.
Yeah, it's just like with Fruit Loops. Some of the colors that we have in the Fruit Loop cereal here in America, it's not even legal to put in the food in Europe.
I can't wait till I go back to the doctor and they're like, "You need to quit smoking. Your breathing's bad." And I'm like, "No, it's not."
It's the bread I'm eating, Doc.
yeah. So their argument here, they start talking about the parts per million and all that, and basically come to the conclusion that a lot of these chemicals are broke down as part of the baking process. But whatever happened to just flour and water? Like, why do they need this chemical to begin with? Nobody's asking these questions in this article. They're just trying to debunk that, like, they're adding junk to the food. Like, they're like, well, yeah, we're adding it, but what's the big deal? It's not killing anybody that we know of.
So is this like a byproduct of something else that's made in a chemical? Kind of like fluoride is a byproduct that's required to be put in the water of large populations?
That is a good question. They really didn't have any way to get rid of fluoride until they started putting it in our water and stuff.
Yeah, I know.
There was a particularly rough time in my life financially where I didn't have like food and stuff on a regular basis. And now that I think about it, what I ate almost every other day was I would take flour and water and mix it up and make a flatbread. And come to think about it, I felt better during that time period than I have since I've been able to purchase like bread.
Right.
So that's weird.
Yeah.
And I still smoke too, so it wasn't the secret.
So it's produced through a chemical reaction where urea and hydrazine sulfates are combined under high temperature.
Wait. Urea?
Yeah.
Isn't that tinkle?
DEF, diesel exhaust fluid that diesel are required to run.
Yeah.
That's nothing but just a major headache to anybody who has to deal with it.
It's a chemical reaction where urea and hydrazine sulfate are combined under high temperature and pressure, resulting in a compound called biurea, which is then further oxidized using a substance like sodium hypochlorite, which is bleach, to produce the final azodicarbonamide product. So that does not sound like something that should be in your bread.
No.
And
absolutely not.
It says that the main application and the reason it's called the yoga mat chemical is because it is widespread it's used to make foamed plastics.
Oh wow. I mean, it's a filler, is what it is. That's the reason
Yes.
I put it in there so that you get full faster.
Well, I mean, think about it. Like, you know, the yoga mats, how they're fluffy and you can press them down, like
Yeah.
the soft. That's literally what they're doing to the bread, is just trying to fluff them up, make it more bready without using actual stuff to make bread.
And we wonder why people are sick in this country. We have more sick people in America than the rest of the world, I think.
Yeah.
Boy.
So that one, like I said, I threw it in here because it was like blatantly paid for by somebody to discredit people when they get chemicals out of the food.
Yeah, but
But
we'd say that.
I like this.
Yeah.
Said they reached out to a bakery industry consultant. She pointed out that there are many things used in industrial uses that cross over into food as well. And the assumption that it's bad for you, she said, is just not accurate. Take, for instance, sheetrock or gypsum. It contains calcium sulfate, which is also used as a food additive. In fact, it's used to make tofu. A vegan favorite contains the same compound that's used to make drywall. Who knew? Okay. Calcium sulfate is not gypsum, you know. But she sure
Gypsum, we have a gypsum plant less than 20 miles from my house.
Yeah.
Well, imagine this. Everything's made of carbon. Huh.
Uh-huh.
There's a
Remember the carbon you were wanting to-
there's a dude, I forget his channel name, but he has been calling this stuff out, and these so-called experts are coming forward and being like, well, here's why he's wrong. And I forget like what it even was. It was one of these chemicals that's in the food or drinks. And he was like, these are all the side effects. It's published.
like,
And the FDA was basically greased to push it through as safe.
yeah.
And this lady comes forward and she's like, here's all the reasons why he's wrong. And he comes back and like stitches her video and starts going through her credentials and is like, oh, you mean to tell me that you received $3 million from the company that makes this chemical? Like,
Yeah.
he's like, you need to cover your tracks better if you're going to come after me over misinformation.
Yeah, well, it's like the guy who came up with the frequency machine. I don't know if you remember the name of it or what.
Rough. Rough.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the guy who was head of the Ben Carson had the job at one time as the
Oh, yeah, I know who you're talking about.
yeah. Anyway, the guy who got rid of the RAF machine, the guy who was the head of all the doctors or whatever, the medical guy, wasn't even a doctor. What
That makes sense. If I'm not mistaken, and I would have to brush back up on that, but I'm pretty sure that guy was also closely associated with the Rockefellers.
Yes. Yeah.
Who basically gave us petroleum-based medicine over holistic remedies.
So realistically, I may not have a gluten sensitivity at all. I could have an azedoicarbonate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or one of the other 42 chemicals that they're putting in it.
Yes.
Right. And I remember reading 15 years ago that the wheat we have today is so different than what it was 100 years ago that it basically has no nutritional value. So when you go out and buy bread in a package, that you're basically just eating a carb with no nutritional value.
Yes.
I've gotten into this thing where I like going back and like seeing pictures of what fruits and vegetables and things look like. Nothing really looks the same that it used to anymore.
Yeah.
Which I mean, it makes sense because if you believe in like the expanding population and like we're running out of resources and stuff, if you believe in that theory, which apparently it's not a theory, but I think it is. It makes sense that they would be trying to make fillers and things like this, but at the end of the day, I mean, it makes you sick. America's way overweight. I can attest to that. I'm fat as hell.
They try to debunk that too. Like, the old videos from the 50s and 60s where everybody's kind of trim and they're like, that was only because it was post World War II and everybody was starving to death and this and that.
No, it was not. Y'all know what I started 2 months ago.
Oh yeah.
Different day.
So where you at now?
I'm down 33 pounds.
Just-
I don't hurt anymore.
Just from eating real food.
Just from eating real food.
That's crazy. That's awesome, though.
Mhm.
I was up on my feet today for probably 8 hours. If I would have been up on my feet prior to this for 4 hours, I would be hurting so bad right now. I couldn't hardly stand it. It's night and day difference. It's just absolutely insane.
It's so strange that, you know, there's like always a connection to the food industry and like the pharmaceutical industry. It's like it all feeds each other, really. Like what you were saying, for example, you
Yeah.
for 8 4 hours, you've been
that-
in pain.
Yeah.
You would have to take something for that pain. You know, it's circular. It's
Well, I'm going to tell y'all after the first of the year, that is my first big project getting into is holistic tinctures and stuff like that. You know,
the FBI.
oh,
That's the thing. Like they don't even want us to do it on our own. Like even if we're not giving it to other people, if they hear about it, they're going to come and be like, "You can't do that."
oh yeah. Well, that's like the laws regarding opium poppies.
Mhm.
It is not illegal to have opium poppies or to grow them, but if there's even a chance that one of the seed pods has been scored, or that you are collecting the straw and everything that comes from when it's drying out, they're going to put you under the jail. Ergo, you can't really afford to have them. But I can buy poppy seeds all day long from my seed person.
Well, all of the articles that we've seen over the last year, that's like, why it's dangerous to own your own chickens, or
Yeah,
like
right,
how
exactly.
gardening may be impacting your local climate or whatever.
Right.
Yeah. In
Well,
10 years, how many cities completely banned you having a small garden in your yard?
yes, absolutely.
Well, during COVID, it was like they were trying to slow roll it to where you couldn't buy seeds. There was a Walmart, I think it was in Michigan, where they literally had the seeds blocked off to where you could not get them and they wouldn't sell
I
them.
remember that.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't make sense. Like,
Yeah.
why not let people grow their own vegetables? Why not let people
Mhm.
raise their own livestock? Luckily I'm in an area where you can still do that.
Right.
But, I mean, it's getting smaller and smaller. Like, totally can't raise chickens where he lives.
Well,
That's true.
it's funny where my son lived, where my ex-daughter-in-law still lives. You may have 2 hens in your
That's
yard.
crazy.
Yeah. And
Um,
but anything outside of that, they will come and they will confiscate them.
Well, if you sorry, go ahead. Go ahead.
No,
finish.
no, no. No, I'm good.
I was looking through what all we got. If you want to take a break from reading, we can watch some videos.
We got to give credit to the folks out there that's making these fine videos. You guys are mighty fine.
Well, I really wanted to show. Steven sent me one of a possible cryptid.
Yeah. And
I
Okay.
I emailed you a photo. It's one photo, but it's done in 2 different shades.
Okay, I'll pull it
And
up.
I think it came from North
Okay.
Carolina.
While you're pulling it up, has anything happened with the drones this week?
Not a lot. They took Christmas
gonna say-
break.
Yeah.
Yes, because I haven't heard anything either. And up until I guess probably Monday, Tuesday, there was still stuff around. But
We do have plenty of drone UFO orb videos. There's even there's one that I want to play of the Malaysian flight too, of contested footage where it alleges that there were orbs around the flight before it disappeared.
Okay.
But we'll start with the cryptid video that
cool.
Steven sent. Let me share with audio. I think we want to hear this one. And it is you can see the person's TikTok handle
Steven
there. It's a TikTok that was on Twitter. We want to hear this one. And it's from Sunwell. But I'll give it you can see the person's TikTok. Can you hear that? It's a TikTok that was on Twitter. We want to hear this one. It's from Sunwell. But I'll give it Can you hear the audio? Can you hear that? It's a TikTok that was on Twitter. We want to hear
Hang on a second.
Can anybody hear me? Can you hear the audio?
Oh my God.
Can you hear that? TikTok on Twitter.
Hang on a second.
Can anybody hear me?
I can still hear you.
Over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Saying that was nuts. Don't ever do that again.
I don't know. I guess I couldn't hear you all when I did that.
That's never happened before, but yeah, it was like a echo chamber where it just kept repeating you over and over and over.
Hang on, let me
let me share it. That was nuts, dude. Hang on a second. Wow. All right. Here we go.
Okay, I think I figured out the problem.
All right.
I can't hear anything.
I've got no volume.
I must have shared without.
We're struggling.
What the was here?
The powers that be do not want us to share this video.
Yeah,
that freaked me out. Here we go.
I hope you can hear this. It sounds like gorillas fighting in the tree. They're breaking limbs bigger around than me.
I see something.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I've never seen anything like it in my life.
Hey, Alan.
Hey, Alan.
Yeah.
Yeah, they.
Every time I've come over here, and the first time when I got up under them trying to figure out what it was, they started breaking limbs off and throwing them at me. And I still cannot figure out what it is. Look, they're ruining this freaking place.
Alan, I believe this video is from South Carolina.
What in God's name is it? It's bigger than me, whatever it is, because it's breaking limbs off that it would take me 2 minutes to saw.
Turn the light back on.
Yeah.
I scared a dog.
Look, see, he's coming right above me, right here. He's fixing to throw something at me, whatever it is. Yeah, they don't like you messing with them. Look.
You cut to this guy and he's wearing a
What
football
in
helmet.
God's name?
Probably would have been a good time to have one.
What's going on?
I'm definitely seeing something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, occasionally it's like you see like a leg or an arm or something in there. Yeah.
This one gets crazy here in a minute.
That's bigger than me. Look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that, look at that.
Wow.
What in Jesus' name is doing this? Oh my God, he just took half the tree down. Something, oh my God, oh my God. Oh, it's got,
I think I'd be getting out of there.
Yeah.
I don't even think a bear would have a chance in Hades and they're doing this. It's something stronger than a bear. And he is pissed. Yeah, that's a healthy tree.
Yeah.
About 8 to 10, maybe even 12 inches in diameter that he just broke because he's pissed because I'm getting close to him. I think I'm going to bounce because I think he just hit the ground, which means he's about to face me on foot. And I don't really want to wrestle with somebody that can tear.
Hang on, I'm going to reset this.
I think I'm going to bounce because I think.
What's that?
What?
I think I'm going to bounce because I.
Damn it! Sorry about that. I gotta see
close
what this
to him.
is.
I think I'm going to bounce.
Right
Okay.
there.
Play it back again.
Oh,
3:15.
I'm getting close to him. I think I'm gonna bounce because I think.
Oh yeah, that
Ooh.
almost like eyes lighting up or something.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I don't really want to wrestle with somebody that can tear trees down
No,
just because they're mad.
Yeah, it looked like eye reflections.
God,
Yes.
look at the tree. He just freaking.
Oh
broke
no,
it
that's
down.
some kind of line over there.
on the left-hand side, yeah, it was.
Well, that was crazy.
Yeah. Well, Tully, I sent you a picture. I don't know if you looked at it, but
I have not looked at it yet.
Um,
Let me.
I thought it would go well with this. Yeah, probably right.
Don't get me started on that damn movie again. Um, so much potential. I guess it was the true depiction, though. I mean, that's what Big Feet or Big Feet. What's that song? Used to clap my hand and stomp my feet. Big Feet.
Big
So,
I think
guess
Bigfoot is plural.
yeah. But that was pretty intense.
Yeah.
But it's in South Carolina. Did they ever catch all the monkeys? I mean,
Yeah, no, that's a good question. But how many monkeys would it have taken? Because those weren't real big monkeys that escaped, were they?
yeah, but I mean, these monkeys escaped from captivity and been eating all this cornbread. They could have got pretty big.
Yeah. Yeah, who knows how amped up they could be?
I'm trying to get these in order, Stephen. Hang on.
Yeah,
There's stuff
it's, the
like
same
that.
filter, it's just a different filter on it. But I mean, to me, in light of this video, I thought that picture, the picture you're going to pop up here in a minute, I thought that's just kind of interesting to go along with it. You know, and y'all, Morgana, Cecil, Tully, y'all tell me if you it looks like you see something in there or not. So I mean,
Me
yeah.
too. Or did you just send it to Tully? Is he the special one?
Well, I had his email address. I couldn't remember yours.
Stephen, I'm awake at that time of the morning.
Yeah, I should have sent it to you, shouldn't I?
Oh yeah, you sent me.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I got this one.
Oh, you
Yeah.
do?
Yeah, you fix it to me.
Okay. I'm sorry, I couldn't remember.
So
Yeah.
here's the first one.
Yeah, and the next one's going to be in a different filter, I think. So,
I'm on full screen.
I don't know.
Oh no,
I
this
think-
is the same one you sent me.
I think there's definitely something
Yeah.
like it reminds me of Predator almost.
Yeah.
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 Like it's cloaking or something.
Yeah. See, that this this is that rabbit hole I keep telling y'all about.
Yeah, I don't know how I would feel if I was taking pictures and seeing stuff like that.
Yeah. This is not my picture. I mean, I'm like I said, I think that picture came from North Carolina. But
that ain't the same one you sent me. This is the one you sent me last week before Deo.
yeah. Look at it
Yeah.
right there. What do you see? That's up in a tree. Those trees were about 60 feet tall.
Yeah.
Just to give you an idea. Look, pull your pointer to your left there, Tully. I mean, Cecil. Go down a little bit. Go down a little bit. Right there.
Yeah.
Go up. Up just a little bit and
Right here.
to the left. To the left.
Right here.
Up a little bit and to the right. A little bit more to the right.
Right there.
Right there.
Oh no, what is that?
Now go to the right some more.
Right here.
Down a little bit. Go over to the right. To the right a little bit.
Okay. Yep. I see
Right.
it.
Right beside your hand.
Oh,
Yeah.
that. What is that?
I wish
That's
I knew.
2 eyes, a nose, a mouth, and facial hair.
Shoulders.
That's weird.
This
All right.
one here's the one that got me right
Yeah.
here.
Right there, the dog, the two-tone dog face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way you were giving me instructions right then gave me PTSD from Mandy wanting me to scratch her back, by the way.
I've got the we'll see if the audio's off on this, but I've got that Malaysian video queued up. We can check it out real quick.
Go ahead.
Just start waving or something if the audio's messed up again.
That about sent me into like a conniption. Like I was like, what is happening right now?
All right, I'm gonna share. Somebody just start waving or something if the audio is weird.
Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing.
9 years ago, it was kind of just, we don't know what happened with it, right? We're just going to assume that it crashed into the ocean, that no one saw it, and we didn't find it above or below. So around August 8th, these videos were posted on the UFOs subreddit. So the first video has an archive date of March 19th, 2014. This is our satellite video. Now, in the description of this video, it says, received March 12th, 2014. That's 4 days after Malaysian Airlines disappeared. A debunk got posted that claimed that they found a shockwave VFX that was supposedly used in the portal effect. Interestingly enough, this VFX does not match our VFX. They ended up manipulating it to try to get 1 or 2 frames to match, and even then they don't match. Debunk got upvoted to the top of the subreddit on UFOs, and it was then used subsequently to shut down all conversation.
Huh. I mean, have they ever found anything from that flight? I don't think they have. Last time we talked about this was on Weird Awakenings, right?
Yeah, they just only speculated that they found some of it.
Yeah.
Right. But yeah, there was nothing that was definitive at all.
Let me see.
It is weird how they just come, like, during that particular time period, there were like a couple or two, a few planes that just disappeared off the face of the earth. Like, there was some, though, that, they speculate was shot down. That was one of them. It's really strange that it came in a wave like that to where there was more than one that disappeared, and plus the people that were on the plane.
Mm-hmm. Awful fishy, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So this is an orb that somebody zoomed in on, and slowed down. And this is from the last few weeks.
Yeah, that's like a gateway or something.
People are speculating everything in the world in the comments on this too, saying some people see angels, like biblically accurate angels.
No joke. That is exactly what was running through my head right then. Because the angels and the biblically accurate angels are not the ones we think of, but I mean,
there's different categories. The ones like this are what is it, seraphim?
Yeah.
Right.
But yeah, that's one of the orb videos from the last couple of weeks.
I really like the orb one. Not a lot of people, I don't believe as many people tuned in last week when we spoke with Stanton as we have tonight. So I want to show what Tully took in his backyard. I guess it was last week, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was the beginning of the week last week.
Yeah.
Hey, Easy
Mac. But we didn't have the chance to show this properly on last Friday's episode. But this is the picture that Tully snapped in his backyard. You can see his little pretty fence right here. And right here is this. So Tully, what did you feel when you seen that?
So it's probably close. I was telling Stan it was close to probably 2 a.m. Letting the dogs out, getting ready to go to bed, and I noticed this. It caught my eye, and I initially was like, "Is that the moon?" And I started staring at it because it's bigger. You can tell it's bigger than like what the North Star would be, and it was a good distance away. And all of a sudden, came to the realization that it was moving. So I whipped out my phone and started zooming, and this is what I caught on the zoom. I was trying to see if the dogs noticed anything. The dogs weren't like perked up, nothing unusual. And you can't see it because it's dark, but there's a big pond back there. And one weird thing is that the day after I took this video and the pictures, the pond actually
Oops. I thought I had the pond picture on here.
The pond actually broke. The drain broke, and the pond is down like 30 feet. So, causation may not equal, or correlation may not equal causation, but it was just strange that the day after that weird orb was back there, the pond is down 30 feet.
Yeah, I didn't realize your pond was as deep as it is, too.
But yeah, that we've got tons of UFO footage. Let me I'll queue up another one here real quick. Awkward silence.
That orb looked like a rolled up condom.
I wouldn't know. I've never seen one.
Wait, just saying.
Let me I'm going to share audio of this one. So this was 8 a.m. South New Jersey, and you can hear the sound here. So yeah, that's that one. Could you all hear that?
I didn't hear anything.
What is going on with the sound tonight?
It sounded like it was producing sound, but it was like white noise. So I don't know. What did it sound like? Can you mimic it with your mouth?
It sounded like I don't know. It sounded like harp to me.
Oh, so the white noise was what we was listening for.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
It was like a type thing.
Mm-hmm.
They said that they could hear it for 45 minutes, and that's definitely a harp-like noise.
Yeah. Well, see, that's interesting with the harp-like noise. I mean, how many people have reported hearing like a shofar sometimes before a storm rolls in?
Yeah.
If you're within a mile of this house, sometimes you can hear a fantastic breakdown.
And I'm on the fence about this next one. It may or may not be video edited. I'll let you guys decide.
Let's see it.
And I'm not going to share audio. I don't think we need audio with this one. So.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
It's the gleam that's weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
now, my only issue with it is I can't determine how big it is because it's a light. And with the way that some drone pilots are now, that could be an actual hobbyist drone. Or it could be a UFO. Or it could be a ghost. But I'm going to range on the side of a skeptic on that one. Just because...
Yeah, those beams of light that shoot out from it, that's...
The gleam is what seems video edited to me because it doesn't really change a lot. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's when it's there, it's almost the exact same.
Yeah.
I don't know about that one. And that's what sucks about this world we live in now. Like, we can't know for a fact what we're seeing unless we see it. Like with our physical eye, like that right there. I've seen like drone enthusiasts fly things like that. If I could determine the size of it, or if we could, if there was any sound associated with it, like even people can dampen sounds of drones now. It's really hard to say.
Well, we got another angel related one.
That looks like a painting, though. I don't think that's real.
Okay, now that's different.
Wow.
This right here was the one that has had me intrigued. I mean,
I'll let it roll through a couple times because it'll bounce back to the painting here in a minute. Well, I guess it won't roll through. So, these things were supposed to have been gyroscopic, and that certainly looks gyroscopic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
a weird one.
That's a strange one. It
Yeah.
doesn't look. I mean, it doesn't look edited. Yeah, that's a unique one. I don't know what to think of that one. Angel, could have been. Yeah.
Let me see.
It looks like it could have been like the wheel within a wheel, huh?
Yeah. Have you seen those things from back in the day when you could get in the middle of it and it's like a gyroscope and you?
Oh yeah. I've seen videos of them.
I want one of those.
This is another weird one. I don't know what to think about that one.
Oh, that's a glitch.
TARDIS.
It looks like almost looks like the Borg from Star Trek Next Generation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, all of this stuff is just floating around the last couple of weeks from all the sightings that were happening.
And like we said at the main beginning of the episode, like I've always kind of like been intrigued by all this stuff. And I've always searched for things, and I've seen strange things throughout my life. I mean, we seen possible UFOs together, Tully and I have.
Mm-hmm.
But in the last 6 or 7 months, I've been seeing some crazy crap that is leading me more toward I was finally right about stuff.
So this guy actually has a scope.
He has a nice spotting scope there.
Yeah. I like that house. It's a pretty nice house.
It is.
More UFO.
Yeah, it's not going to look right doing that, bro.
Huh?
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, is the fabric being broke? Like, I don't understand. Like, what is all this stuff? Like, there's so many of these portal openings now.
Did that not look like the one in my backyard?
Yeah, it did. Like,
It did.
If it wouldn't have came from you, it would be typical what you sent. But like I even said this morning, I was like, is the veil being broke? Like, what's happening? Like, everybody in the world seeing. You can walk outside right now, and there's a solid chance you might see something that you can't explain.
Well, it's definitely gotten thinner over the last few years. So it stands to reason it's going to get to a point where it's thin enough where people that would normally not see stuff will see it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, there's satellites and stuff flying over all the time. I mean, but they're usually pretty easy to spot. They're moving at a pretty good clip and everything else. But it's this other stuff that may stop and then all of a sudden decide to take off.
Yeah,
I mean, there's some strange stuff moving around up there.
Let me get this other one going.
It's really strange though. Like the portal stuff, like the portal, like that. The only way I can explain all like what Tully took a picture of, what that was. These orbs, even in New Jersey, when the drones were flying around, when you zoomed in, they look like portals.
We saw this one last week, but I wanted to play it again.
That one was crazy wild.
Yeah.
I've got another one that I'm going to show after this where a pilot took a video and it looks like the moon is local.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
It looks like kind of like this, except it's the moon sitting on the clouds.
That one looks bigger than the rest to me, or was it just closer?
Yeah, it does. It did.
Huh.
Yeah, that's pretty wild. I don't know if I've got it on this phone or not. I found one of my old phones, so oh man, if I can. Oh, good night. Oh.
Yeah, definitely something not natural about that. And that's like we said last week, that's actually too high for drones, like normal drones. We're talking 30,000 feet.
Yeah, you're not going to be able to buy a regular hobby drone and get that high.
I was going to say, so those that I bought my boys last week for Christmas probably aren't going to be sending us any good footage like that.
Right.
Have any of you flown a drone before?
Yeah.
I suck at flying drones. So.
Mandy bought me one, and I had it for 2 minutes, and I crashed it, and it's destroyed.
Check this out.
I always sucked at Mario Kart too, so.
I was awesome at Mario Kart. Shit at Mario Kart.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Huh.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah.
And I know it's probably just an orb, but
that's that mothership from Iran that disappeared.
Yeah, that's it. That's nuts.
Uh-huh.
Wow. Okay. I mean, I can't disprove anything. And really, the way that the world's been going, it has to be real. Like in my mind, it's real.
But why are they operating? Why are they taking Christmas off? Why are they abiding by FAA guidelines?
Yeah.
Why are they honoring airspace?
Yeah.
Because they made an agreement. Don't be shooting stuff at us, and we won't destroy your planet.
Yeah.
We're curious. We want to look.
Here is another orb.
Curiosity eated the cat, though. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Look
That's
at
right.
that.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
Whoa.
That almost looks like another planet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely some weirdness going on.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if this one transforms. Like you can see the lights, like almost like it's a plane, but you can tell when he zooms in that it's definitely not.
No.
I don't know. You think that's a plane?
I don't.
It's a strange shape for a plane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The SR-71 doesn't fly that slow.
That's.
You tell he's struggling where it's zoomed so much.
Yeah.
I think there's a part 2 to this, though. Let me.
That looked like a cat. But I don't know, man. Like, tell us what you think out there in the world. It's really strange everything that's happening. It really is.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Swamp gas.
Swamp gas. 30,000 foot swamp gas.
Right. Now,
that looks like straight plasma to me.
Yes.
I need you to look into the light. There we go.
Right. Yeah.
That does definitely look like plasma.
Well, and we opened up the show last week with the fact that there is published articles on the Navy having technology that creates plasma balls to what was it to offset heat-seeking missiles?
Yeah.
Yes.
But like I said, it was my understanding that glitter is what they use to offset heat-seeking missiles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we played that video back the old news anchor. He's like, "This looks like clouds, but actually, it's the government spraying glitter."
Uh-huh. Right. Exactly. You know, because like I said, and that's one of those things you until you start doing the research into it, you're like, oh, that's such bull. There's no way the government's the biggest purchaser of glitter in the world. Yeah, they kind of are.
Oh, but they are.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm clearly in the wrong business.
Yeah.
Well,
Who knew? Yeah.
I think that's the end of the videos. I don't know if we want to cover anything else or call it and pick it back up tomorrow.
Buddy, it's late.
It's past Cecil's bedtime. Well, we can stop there for tonight then. And we'll plan on doing something tomorrow night. We'll do I know we had the stuff ready for government and agency projects part 2.
Yep.
And we'll roll on that tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll do some government agency part 2 tomorrow. Some projects.
What time?
8 p.m. Eastern.
Okay.
Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sure.
So if you're out there watching and you have a topic or anything you want us to cover, go ahead and email it to us. If you want to be a guest, you can email us as well at witf@gmx.com. We're here every Friday at 7 p.m. Eastern, so go ahead and tune in. Go ahead and hit like and subscribe if you want to. If you want to buy us something, you can buy us a coffee over here. I don't know how we're going to get the money off, but
Cecil's got to pay taxes, so he's holding out. Yeah, if Twitter's our main for show updates. So if you're watching on Twitter or if you do the X thing, go give us a follow on there.
Yep. And we'll be having some merchandise rolling out as soon as we figure out the logistics of it. I've already got some pretty cool designs, I think. Yeah, I got some good ones. I might even put that one of Justin Timberlake's mugshot on the shirt.
You'll get sued for copyright.
Right?
Oh man.
Defamation.
Yeah. There wasn't one tonight, but next Friday there will be another Weird Awakenings at 8 p.m. Eastern as well on the Weird Realities Network.
Yep.
And
Mandela's and the Simpsons.
The Mandelas and the Simpsons. I might jump on that one. Because I do like me some Mandela effects, and Mandela's been getting pretty wild this year.
Yes, they have.
Yeah.
But does anybody else have anything going on?
No, sir.
Good.
All right.
We'll be here tomorrow.
Yep, we'll see you tomorrow if you want to come on by and hang out with us. And thank you for watching us, because we are watching you.